go.
6 o'clock.
Yes,
Call a meeting in order, September 21st, 2023, Palmyra Town Hall. Certification of compliance with open meeting laws.
I posted it at the board and the website.
Roll call.
Sauter,
Here.
Martins,
Here.
Gajewski,
Here.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approved minutes from August 14th, 2023 town board meeting and August 20th, 2023 special town meeting and August 27th, 2023 special town board meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 14th meeting, August 20th meeting, and the August 27th. Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Bills.
I make a motion to approve the bills as presented. I thought we were just doing the ones you passed out. Go ahead.
no, well, those are those. We Energies by the airport for August was $47.72. Lower Spring Lake, we owed them $440.07 from the August settlement that we got. Quadient Finance, $200 postage we had to pay. Brightspeed was $117.09 for the internet. We Energies for street lighting in September was $61.42.
Stop.
Sorry.
Where do we provide street lighting? Blue Spring Lake Road right there? One.
I think there's one at the end of the lake as well, on South Shore. Yeah, that. I don't know.
But
LRS, it was $6,717.16 for garbage, $3,063.27 for recycling. We Energies for September by the airport was $45.06. Assessment Technologies, which is our assessor, third installment for the year was $3,125. Quadient Finance, their quarterly rental for the equipment was $79.09. Lang Enterprises for a address sign was $48.76.
question. We were talking before, can somebody just call them to get a fire number?
No, they contact me, so occasionally, it's more so for people who just finished their home and want to move in and they want to have the fire number out there because now they're living there and they want, of course, someone to be able to find them if there's an emergency. Occasionally, I'll get a call where my fire number is really, really faded and we need to get a new one. So,
Okay, now we had a box that are still over there.
right.
Are those all spoken for? Are
Yes.
those new numbers?
No, those are, well, I don't know I don't think they're new. I think they're replacements. There might be a couple new. It was in that list that I had sent out. So those still have to be dealt with.
Okay.
Jefferson County Highway, we owed them $1,112.18 for July signs. The law firm, there were two invoices that came to $2,553.75. The Lowry salary was $3,232.25. Martin's salary was $230.87. Gajewski's salary was $230.87. Sauter's salary plus some mileage reimbursement and a 2-night hotel stay for a conference came to $764.24. Northwest Services, we had gotten a chunk of invoices for the storm cleanup in the, was it July, August storm, and I broke it out into 2 checks. The first one was for the initial emergency cleanup that they had to do, and that came to $12,697.25. And then the second chunk was the going out and doing the cleanup and a lot more roads, and that was $14,850.50. So roll call vote, Sauter, Martins, Kieski,
Aye.
Public comment, Did everybody signed up?
Nobody's
Nobody
on
on
it. Nobody's on it.
Just curious.
What's that?
Everybody's just here to listen.
Yes. Reports, treasurer's report.
In the general fund, we had $369,550.46. The tax account, we had $9,020.23. The LGIP general was $448.13. The LGIP fire and EMS is $2.81. The airport had $43,935.86. And the LGIP airport had 55 cents. And I will file that.
How much is left in the science fund?
I have to look and see.
Number 2, highway.
We are one crew, full-time, getting the rest of the trees off. And then there could be up to 2 crews depending upon when they get done with Hebron. And then we're gonna start on that, do that brushing that me and you looked at on Bluff, going into Carlin Trail. And then the other side of Carlin where it gets to 59, that'll probably be next week, probably Friday.
So the storm damage part of it,
We're just working on constant until it's done.
When do you anticipate it being completed?
Up 2 weeks, unless I can get 2 crews on it, then obviously
What's our-
one more day off every time I get a second crew, so.
so you and I talked about the deadline, extensions, etc.
Yeah,
We can't even think of doing an extension until after the deadline, correct?
right, well, I honestly can't answer those questions, because I've talked to every town board clerk, and now Donna's not even at the county right now, she's either, at a meeting or something, but there's somebody else that's taking her place. So what I'm understanding from talking to the clerks that I talked to is that nobody could have got their bills okayed in time to have sent them in anyway. So every town's filling in for an extension.
So what we have to do is you've got to complete it, give us the bill, total bill.
That's
We have to approve it, it has to be approved by the board, then we file for it.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to file, now, I just talked to Kathy from Hebron today, and she said she was gonna call me back if she found anything different than what you just said, that you could get it finished and file at that point. She would call me back, she never called me back.
She actually left me a message.
Okay,
Because Donna's out, she sent me the name, it's Kelsey something, that I've got to call tomorrow to talk to her about the extension and see what it is, because I have no.
so none of it has to do with what I'm doing. I got everything that you guys need in that I can do.
Yeah,
Except the final invoices for us to approve.
Correct.
Yeah, I got invoices of everything we've done to this point, yes. And then from this point on, and it's the 26th is when that date actually comes, but you gotta be in on the 25th. So they say the 26th, but all the paperwork has to be in on the 25th. And this is all my understandings from talking to all the different clerks.
Right, and then we would have 6 days, I think we said, to file or get it through and get it approved before the 1st of October, November, I guess, right?
Everything has to be finished by 26th of October.
October,
Yeah,
that's
right.
the final,
Oh,
final.
yes.
Yeah.
And then, so it was our understanding that by November 1st, they decide whether to do the extension or not, right? So we have 5 days for that whole process, but if we get everything in and the board approves the invoices, why do we need an extension anyway?
You'll have to have an extension because you have to file an extension by 26th of this month.
Right,
Of this
Of
month,
Of this month,
not
yes.
October.
Not October. October, everything has to be done by October
So you're
26th.
gonna yeah,
yeah, I gotta call Kelsey tomorrow. Yeah.
It's very complicated.
Yeah,
There
because
is
I can still report what you've given us, but if there's more to come and if we're not gonna have it completed by the 25th, then that's where Kelsey comes in and figure out what we gotta do for the extension.
If you think you'll be complete within 2 weeks,
But that makes us a week past the deadline, you'll still have to file it.
That's not my question.
Okay,
The
I'm
question
sorry.
is, if you're gonna be done in 2 weeks, that still gives us 2 weeks to get the invoices approved, then we wouldn't need the extension.
And
But
most
no.
like,
2 weeks is past the 25th,
Not my question. Understand that?
Yes.
but that's the
You're
extension date.
I'm just saying theoretically, if we got all of the invoices in, we had a board meeting or a special board meeting to approve those invoices before October 26th, there would be no need for an extension, correct?
Oh,
Now, once again, I'm only going by what everybody said, but my understanding is the extension has to be filed.
I'm not arguing that. I understand that we have to file an extension. All I'm saying is it wouldn't be needed if we got everything done before October 26th, right?
No, it has to be filed after today.
Again, you're not understanding what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Yeah.
I know we have to file the extension by September 26th.
Correct.
I'm saying it's a moot point if we get everything done before that,
But it's-
before
it's
October
also the
26th.
filing date. The extension date's the filing date. The extension date is the filing date. So we would have to have everything completed and approved within a week.
What is the October 26th date?
I don't know,
Everybody talks about
right?
the deadline is October 26th. I understand you have to file for an extension if you want an extension. My only point is if there's a deadline of October 26th, logically that tells me if everything's done and the board approved by the 26th.
What you're saying right now is exactly what Tina, the clerk for Jefferson, has said to me, exactly.
Okay?
But she can't get the final answer between Donna and this other person,
Kelsey, I think.
yes, from my understanding.
All right.
please find that out for us.
So we have to find that out before the 26th. Is
But you
the-
should be done in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Is the extension application a long process or is it
I
like
have
one
no
page?
idea. No idea.
Fill in some blanks and sign it? Oh, no?
This is the first time I've done any of this, and they have a whole new application process for it too, so
Well, if we
it's
only got 5
completely.
days, can we look into that?
Yeah,
See how long the process
but I have
takes?
to call her tomorrow, so.
Okay, thanks.
And like I would suggest, I know that Cold Spring, I got everything to them because they had the least amount done. And Marissa is the person that handles the Cold Spring, did it all, and they've never talked to me. So whatever they did, they might be the people, Marissa might be the person to talk to because I believe they've got everything done and
Did you say Cold Springs?
in Cold Spring.
I know Tina was working on it too, and she had a weird thing, it said that they had already filed something for the April one, and they never filed anything in April. And she's like, well, you know, how trustworthy is the app if that came out that way, but I can reach out to Marissa.
Marissa
Okay.
Piper.
Anything else that we need to know
No,
about?
I don't think so, no.
Fall, ETA and fall mowing, do you have,
I was gonna ask, but I can look with mine to find out when we started last year, but I think we started the very last week of September.
okay,
So that's what we'll do this year.
that's this week.
Yeah.
Let's check.
That's fine.
Here you go.
Oh, I need.
What?
And then as I learn it, I will relay it, because I've been in touch with everybody, as you can tell. And going.
Thanks, guys.
I guess we'll skip the fire department, folks, they're not here. I did talk to Derek the other day. They hadn't gone out, checked on those dry hydrants. Remember last month we talked about dry hydrants. So I have no word on that. And the airport. I think we'll talk about that just a tiny bit when we go to old business. I think Josh or you were talking about that, but anybody tonight? Blue Spring Lake District,
We had our annual meeting on August, Labor Day weekend before Labor Day. Elected a new board member. And Meyer, other than that, nothing new, nothing to report.
Building inspector.
We had one building inspection for solar, one electrical inspection for service, one electrical inspection for service and a generator, which got us $63.50.
Okay, emergency management plan. I did get a correspondence from Lori Miller that the village, or not necessarily from Lori Miller, Derek over there, from the fire department, they have finalized theirs. That's all I have reported on that, but I guess the sheriff's department report tonight. Correspondence, I think we've got a couple, don't we?
I don't,
Did we just get one from Ed on his concerns?
I thought you could speak.
Oh, okay. Nothing in the correspondence. Old business. Discussion and possible action to approve payment to Scott Construction for work on Hooper Road.
I would make a motion that we approve the pay request number 1 from Scott Construction for Hooper Road in the amount of $69,359.
Got a motion to pay the $69,359 from Scott Construction. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
At some point, we'll have to do a budget amendment to include that in our 2023 budget, but that probably will be a workshop or two away on details, I think, before we can potentially bring it back as part of either the regular October meeting or potentially November.
Okay, any further discussion? None? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Now, all of these bills here were part of that. Okay, number 2, discussion and possible action on what has been paid by the town and the airport commission to the village pertaining to the rezone of the airport and stormwater professional services. That, I want you to read that correspondence from Dave Hefner, please.
This email?
Or Zeno.
The one where it says line item number 2, we discussed and took action on the pressure washer, which is co-owned by the Palmyra Airport and the town of Palmyra.
I want you to read the complete email that we just sent you yesterday or the day before. It pertains to some of what we're talking about.
Right, this is the one I think you're talking about. I mean, it starts out, Laura, I wanted to reach out as follow-up to our special meeting at the Airport Commission on Sunday, September 17th, 2023. We discussed the following items that pertain to the town. Line item number 2, we discussed and took action on the power washer or pressure washer, which is co-owned by the Palmyra Airport and the town of Palmyra. The decision is that the Airport Commission will be reimbursing the town in the amount of $4,748, which represents the amount that the town has invested in the pressure washer. With the check, we respectfully request a clean bill of sale from the town for the pressure washer to the airport. We also discussed but did not come up with a final decision regarding the stormwater fees. It still appears that there is a disconnect confusion in regards to the total bills. Chris Lathup will be taking lead to contact Josh to find out numbers, to work final numbers out. We will then discuss it at our next meeting. The next planned Airport Commission meeting will be Sunday, October 22nd, 2023 at 10 a.m. We would like to put this item on our agenda to finalize the offer to the town from the airport. Alan?
Yes.
Okay.
Josh, go ahead.
I would make a motion that we table agenda item number 2 until the October town board meeting. Regular October town board meeting, excuse me.
Which of course will still be before their commission meeting.
Yep.
Motion's been made to table number 2 until Josh can possibly Chris Lathrop get together and discuss these bills. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, discussion and possible action on what has been paid by the town and the airport commission on legal bills for legal service, or legal advice.
I would make a motion that we table agenda item number 3 until the regular October town board meeting.
A motion has been made to table this item as far as the legal bills with the airport commission and the town. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 4, discussion and possible action on tax collector bond for the clerk/treasurer position.
Right, so for a 1-year bond, it's $100, for 2 years, it's $170, and for 3 years, it's $255. It is with the position, not with the person. So if you went with the 3-year and I was no longer the clerk after next March, it would cover the next clerk that would come in.
I would make a motion that we approve the 2-year tax collection bond for the clerk treasurer position.
Motion's been made to approve the tax collector bond for 2 years. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any further discussion?
Yes. What are the numbers again for 2 versus 3?
3 is $255 and 2 is $170.
Okay, and 1 year is what?
100. So he essentially said the 3-year gets you the best.
Right, why wouldn't we do that?
They're
Price.
both $85 a year. If you look at the difference between a 2-year and a 3-year. Year 2 and year 3 are both $85. It's $270, correct?
170. One's
Yeah, it's 85 and 250.
255.
And the 3-year is
Oh, no, 1 year is 100, 2 years 170, and 3 years 255. Is that what?
170, you're right.
Okay.
Well, 2 years will be cheaper. It's 70.
It's 85 per year, and so is the 3-year. But we're also looking at the possibility of 2 years, 3 years from now to renew it or get it again for whoever's clerk is going to be hired, potentially. So, I mean, I'm fine at either 2 or 3. That just, for $85, why not put it to bed for 3 years?
Any change in motion here? No. All in favor of the 2-year option?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5, discussion and possible action on 2023-003 ordinance regulating heavy truck routes in the town of Palmyra.
Okay, so I think on this one, where we were at was just finalizing the roads. I thought, Josh, at one point you had said something about we had to be careful about Lake Prairie Road because of the money that we've gotten. And then also, we have to publicize this, we have to publish it in the newspaper, since even though we're not essentially assigning a penalty fee, the sheriffs would if they got anybody for not following an official sign. So I left the date off because I wasn't sure when we could get it posted, and then it says also you have to allow time for adequate time for putting the signs up. So in section B, those are the roads that we currently have, so I thought the Little Prairie Road wouldn't be an issue because it's not listed.
What did you want to say on that? You were checking on something.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna call it 2020, the town got a grant, to help with reconstruction costs for Little Prairie Road, and part of the scoring of that grant and the grant application and paperwork that went along with it had to do with the amount of truck traffic that was on Little Prairie Road. Meaning, if we restrict truck traffic from Little Prairie Road, there is an outside potential that the grant monies that we were awarded would no longer be eligible and we may have to pay it back. So I would suggest that if this moves forward, that Little Prairie Road be included with the list of highways that are also listed there.
Otherwise, we'd have to pay that potential.
There's an outside chance, yes, and for $600,000 plus to include it, that's a pretty big decision on payback or include it in my mind. The road was constructed for
Heavy trucks?
for truck traffic. There's no reason why it shouldn't be posted from a construction standpoint.
When Little Prairie Road was improved, was it improved to the point where it can handle heavy trucks?
Yes.
Well, obviously, we don't want to take a chance of having to pay back $600,000. So we would have to add Little Prairie Road into approved routes, correct?
That would be my suggestion.
So Little Prairie Road would have to be added.
Correct.
I just did. And then,
I've got a question on the, and maybe I'm just reading it wrong, but the statement's kind of confusing.
That's
Following
fine.
town of Palmyra highways are designated as heavy traffic routes, and heavy traffic on the following town highways is restricted or prohibited. You're saying both there.
that's the way that the sample came from the Wisconsin Towns Association. That's why this one was very confusing to me.
At least it's not just me.
Yes.
Well, B is, well, it's saying that 59-106 Little Prairie Road, you can use big trucks on it. That's what it's
Yes,
saying.
but the statement above it says is the following are restricted or prohibited. So it's a confusing statement, but if it's what's in the state document, then it's
Yeah.
in the state document, so.
Yeah, basically, I just plopped in Town of Palmyra, and then the section where it actually lists the roads. So I added Little Prairie Road, and then when did we think that, it said, put in a date after the date of publication or posting, and allowing adequate time for the signs to be put in place. So when do we think we would have the signs posted?
Well, it's
Yeah, 'cause I think
it's gonna be after the first of the year.
Because I could get it published probably next week, but that doesn't solve the problem of the sign.
That brings me to another question. As far as publishing, where do we usually publish?
Enterprise.
No,
Union, I'm
the
sorry.
Union, Daily Jefferson Union.
And why do we do that?
It's been the newspaper as long as I've been here before.
It is the official newspaper for the town of Palmyra.
Okay,
Yeah.
and there's reasons I'm asking that. After that school I went to Monday, we were the only one left that has an official newspaper for a posting site. It's not advised anymore. Now, we'll have to change that, okay? But I'm just telling you, that's why I'm double checking
Yeah,
this.
it's just always been,
So yes, we should post
Add
it,
it to next month's agenda.
Right.
Talk about there.
but we need to eliminate that. We were
There's
the
some- there-
only one there.
Yeah, there's some, it's getting off track a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
But there's statutory requirements to have an official newspaper for things like bid openings and things like that.
They wouldn't know all that. We're gonna talk about it the next meeting,
okay.
so that'll be on there. So now do we have to change or make a motion to add Little Prairie? Anybody like to make that motion to add Little Prairie to the ordinance?
to do that? Okay, I make a motion to add Little Prairie to,
Travel
clause
law.
B, clause B of this ordinance, 2023-003.
Motion's made to add Little Prairie Road to an acceptable road to operate heavy trucks. Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion?
Just one thing. Should we put the date on there and just do it all at once, or do they have to be made a motion on separately?
Well, I don't think you necessarily have to,
you make a motion for the amendment, and then you make a motion to adopt the amended ordinance.
No, I get that, but we have to put in an effective date. And can we just vote on them both at the same time, or we have to do one at a time?
No, you don't have to.
So
Sure.
what date do we want to make it effective, and then we'll just vote on it?
I was gonna say your motion would then just include date and the.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to add Little Prairie. Any further discussion on that?
Let me amend my motion to add the effective date as well in the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hang on, T for time, we gotta slow down a little.
Yeah.
What is the date amendment then that we're gonna make? So we made an amendment to include Little Prairie Road. And
Yes.
that would be the first thing that we would vote on.
That's what I thought we just did. Now we have to vote on the amended complete document. And we can actually make it effective today.
Well, you can adopt it today, but the effective date would be based on publication and when the signs are ready to go.
Yes, but don't you, looking at other ordinances, it's signed, and then it also states in there that until it's posted, it's not enforced until all signs are posted. Some of our ordinances have.
Right, but this specific one said, it had this note that you had to allow for adequate time for the signs. So again, I'm just going with what the Wisconsin Towns Association provided on this one. I mean, if you want me to add some language about,
How do you interpret that, Josh?
yeah,
Other sign ordinances or ordinances that would require posting, physical posting, like out in space, say this ordinance will become effective after publication and posting, meaning, to your point, whenever the signs go up is then when it becomes official. This one was drafted to include a specific date and time, but if it was amended to include after publication and posting, then it wouldn't, Laura could post it next week Tuesday, or publish it next week Tuesday, and it wouldn't, this ordinance really wouldn't become effective until the day the county puts the signs up for us.
right.
Whether that's to March, May, 12 years from now, or whatever.
You want to do that?
And I think one thing guys might be getting stuck up on is, we've never had this ordinance before, so this is a brand new ordinance. It's not like we're amending a prior one. So, I assume that the vote would be on once we got all the language correct, and then you would do a final approval of it.
So
Since it's brand new.
right, ultimately though, if there's a full, where we've been with this ordinance over the years is thought, craft, draft 2, and this is essentially where we came up with. But if it's to the point where there's only a few specific things to be amended, to be approvable, the board has the ability to make those amendments on the fly, as in Little Prairie Road, as in the date, publication, posting that, and then approve the amended ordinance. Kind of all in one fell swoop. I mean, realistically, we could have done that 3 months ago, but it would have been a pretty messy process to make amendments to what the draft was at that point, so.
So what needs to be changed on the draft line?
Whatever you want.
And
Realistically, if the goal is to have this be effective after the signs are erected, then we need to change the section in red where it says a specific date after publication and posting, unless we want to give ourselves a lot of leeway and say May 1st of 2024.
Let's just change it to what you said before, that it goes into effect once the signs are erected and posted to meet the day out of it. So I would suggest. Seems to be the simplest way to do it.
So then that phrase would say this ordinance becomes effective after publication and the posting of signs.
Do you want the date in there or just after publication?
So it just becomes effective after publication.
Signs have been posted. I'll go in and see how that's other.
Yeah,
But ordinance
Oh.
becomes effective.
Thank you.
Any other changes?
Small, but I would put appropriate for signs,
Appropriate?
appropriate signs. Adopted as of today, right?
Well, if you approve.
Is that?
If you approve it.
So do you think we should have her reread the entire?
get your golden pipes with him.
It's up to you.
Please read it.
Town of Palmyra, Wisconsin, ordinance number 2023-003, ordinance regulating heavy truck routes in the town of Palmyra. The town board of the town of Palmyra, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, has the specific authority under statute 349.17 of Wisconsin statutes to adopt this ordinance and does hereby ordain as follows. This ordinance adopted by a majority of the town board on a roll call vote with the quorum present and voting and proper notice having been given, designates town highways as heavy traffic routes in the town as follows. A, in this ordinance, heavy traffic means all vehicles not operating completely on pneumatic tires and all vehicles or combination of vehicles other than motor buses designed or used for transporting property of any nature and having a gross weight of more than 6,000 pounds. B, the following town of Palmyra highways are designated as heavy truck routes, and heavy traffic on the following town highways is direct, restricted, or prohibited as follows. State Truck 15, Highway 59, State Truck Highway 106, County Truck Highway E, County Truck Highway H, County Truck Highway Z, Little Prairie Road are designated truck routes pursuant to 349.17(1) Wisconsin statutes. C, the town chairperson or his or her designee shall place appropriate traffic signs on the above described highways on or before the effective date of this ordinance. D, no person may operate any vehicle on the above noted town highways in violation of the above noted designated heavy traffic routes. Any violation shall be subject to penalties under state statute 346.04 for N2 of Wisconsin state statutes. This ordinance becomes effective after publication of appropriate signs have been posted. The town clerk shall properly publish this ordinance as required under state statute 60.80 Wisconsin statutes and adopted this day, and then I'll have to get all of your signatures and then I will attest to it.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2023-003, ordinance regulating heavy truck routes in the town of Palmyra as just read.
Motion's been made to pass ordinance 2023-003, regulating heavy truck routes in the town of Palmyra. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Oh.
Aye.
No, Sauter,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Kieski,
Aye.
We still got it in. Number 6, discussion.
Hang on, did we sign that tonight?
yeah, the one I just did.
Before, right, before we
Yep.
leave, we can sign that.
Yep, yep.
Number 6, discussion and possible action on right-of-way permit escrow fee versus surety bond. All yours, Josh.
Quick little history lesson is a year ago, the town came up with a permitting process for work within the road right-of-ways in the town. Earlier this year, we came up with an application and kind of the process to handle those. Since then, we've been dealing with quite a few permit applications in the process to get those various projects moving. One of the more recent issues that we've run into is kind of an internal process with one of the contractors or vendors per se, and their process of trying to handle two different pieces. One is our application fee and the other is our deposit for restoration. Been asked numerous times, honestly, by numerous different companies whether or not they would accept a bond in lieu of a check deposit for restoration. We talked about it, I think it was 2 months ago. Given the number of projects that we've had so far and the fact that not all contractors or utility companies, I don't believe, are aware of the fact that we have this policy, and they're also trying to do some education on that. Managing the potential of 20 different individual bonds is a little more than our part-time staffing really allows. So one of the options that I discussed with specifically Spectrum was, instead of using a $2,000 individual project location deposit for restoration, is to issue an annual bond for that company for work within our right-of-way and make it, one of the items was $10,000, so that we would have the ability to process their applications a little more fluidly, as well as they would be able to handle on their end getting those projects facilitated from a permitting standpoint and construction standpoint. So my conversation with one of the reps was to pick a date, whether it's January 31st to January 31st, and have them issue one bond. In one case it would be for Spectrum or for We Energies or whomever it might be, where they would bond their work sites kind of contiguous to their projects, and then we would really only have to manage 5 or 6 annually, then 20 to 30 all at various different sites. So the last time this came up, using escrow was the preferred choice so that we had it in hand. We didn't really discuss some of the operational side from the contractor's perspective. In my own mind, a lot of this kind of comes down to comfort level of the clerk, I guess, as well as handling 5 or 6 bonds. We Energies, Spectrum, Brightspeed, Everstream, starting to run out of people who provide utility service, formal utility service. So I think it's kind of a meet in the middle. Obviously, we've had some feedback, I'll say, as far as the fact that the town is holding this whole process up for some of the residents, and it really isn't. It's just the contractors having to deal with our policy as it stands, and trying to get all of their proverbial pieces moving. So
I appreciate the companies talking with the residents and trying to make a big deal out of it, put it on the town.
So I guess in my own mind, in what started as a policy that had no mechanics behind it is kind of what we've kept going with this year. From the utility construction side of things, I can see that a bond would be easier for them to handle, especially if it's the corporate rather than a subcontractor, because I shouldn't say all. A lot of this work is subcontracted. It's not Spectrum, it's not Brightspeed, it's not on and on and on. It's subcontractors and contracts that they're dealing with. So to me, issuing an annual bond is kind of a halfway point where we still have the security for restoration. We've got an issue going on right now where utilities were installed not to plan, where we would have something to hold against them, and either, number one, not issue any additional permits, or number two, use that as leverage of they got moved and get installed per plan. So
And the escrow doesn't do that?
it would, but at the same point, $2,000 doesn't go very far these days either. So, you know, the likelihood right now, I think Spectrum's got 3 projects in the town. Brightspeed's got 1.
I think Spectrum is 4.
4, okay.
Uh,
So,
This gentleman here, would you like to add something, sir?
Ed Meisner, I live on 1265 South Shore Drive. I'd like to give you a brief talk on why I need the service from Spectrum and I'm not getting it. My wife has her own practice. She's a mental health provider. She deals with severe trauma, PTSD. She works with first responders, veterans, and so forth. We need to have reliable internet in our home because there's times that she has to work from home. We can't